Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Sky Factory 3. I spent some time getting some materials together and did a little bit of work, kind of like super late last night. Had work today, so I'm getting back to it now. I made another set of solar panels here for our grid power, so now I have enough to actually use the resonator here to turn lapis into lunar reactive dust. It takes 16, and I've got 18 now. Had to get that last set together there. And then I spammed out some more dust through the sieve to get some more redstone so we can go ahead and make a lunar panel. Got all the material here. I think this is our last ender shard. Yeah, that is the last ender shard piece that I have here. And I cleaned this out just a little while ago. It builds up materials pretty quick. I cleaned that out, so our emerald is now there, where our ender shard used to be. I've been melting down some metals. What else did I do just recently? I took out the 4 trees that were here and put the apple sapling down. So now I get apples occasionally, not that I'm short on food. I made a couple pieces of snad, which is like a typo for sand, but it's better than sand. It's sand that actually grows sugarcane faster, which I thought was pretty funny when I first heard about it, because there's a rumor in Minecraft about that sugarcane grows faster on sand than it does on dirt. And it's just a total rumor. There's no actual fact behind that. But the guy that made this mod took it to a second level and was like, you know what, if you make the snad and put sugarcane on it, then it does grow faster. So people can now be like, hey, I've got snad and sugarcane grows faster on snad. So it looks like they're saying it grows faster on sand, but just typoing it. But they're actually correct. Anyway, in the farm here, I took out a couple of things and I put down a stone and a dirt crop from Mystical Agriculture. I've been getting some of the little starting bits and pieces from the mob drops over there. Got them here in this chest. I've been getting the Inferium Essence and Prosperity Shards. Actually, the shards come from the sieve. Let's see. Sand and iron for an 8% chance, or sand and diamond for a 16% chance. So yeah, that's where I got some of those to start with, and I probably got a few from loot bags, maybe, not quite sure. But I've got a bunch of this Inferium Essence also, and I've already harvested a couple of stone essence and a dirt essence from these. Bone meal doesn't work on them. I don't have any kind of watering can, and the whole like twerk tree grow thing does nothing. Obviously, it only works on like trees. So these take a while to grow. There are the growth pulsers. If you played with what was it called? The 1.7 Minecraft version of this, it had it, so you should be familiar with it. But if you're not familiar with it, a growth pulsar is a block that you place under the dirt here, under the farmland, and it basically looks upwards, and any plant or thing that needs growth above that receives additional tick rate based on how many of those blocks are underneath it in a column. So I think the original cap was 40 of them, so you could go 40 blocks straight down and build a bunch of growth pulsars. I don't know if there's a limit or what it is in this version, because it's like a port to 1.10, and it's not exactly the same thing, but it's pretty close. So I'll have to look into that, but for now I don't have the material to make them. Or I do, but don't want to quite yet. Growth Accelerator, and we need 4 Inferium blocks, so I actually need 36. I don't have quite enough for one Growth Accelerator yet. Any 4 kind of stone and a diamond, in the middle. So, and I do have diamonds. I've got 14 there and another one there. So I've got plenty of diamonds. I'm just actually short on the inferium essence, which I'm getting from mob drops. Alright, put that away. Let's go ahead and put our lunar panel together here. Like so. And I already have a spot right here for that. So now this is going to generate about 3 power during the night. So I can leave this mining upgrade in here, and the crusher will still run overnight. It has been turning off at night because it requires the 1 power due to this upgrade in here. Since all of the extra utilities, grid power things kind of are on their own system, their own network of like invisible energy production and usage. So even though this is down here, it still affects that over there, and it also affects the resonator here. Because of that upgrade, this will take 1 extra power to run. This will take 1 extra power, which is from 0 because it is running on RF, but it will require 1 instead of 0, and thus cannot run at night because that upgrade is sitting in there. The transfer node pulling cobblestone, however, requires 0 no matter what. So the mining upgrade just doesn't care about it. Anyway, I got another ender pearl. I used it to make our resonating iron and broke it down into nuggets and crafted the item conduits, which I was talking about doing the last episode. So I've got them here, pulling cobblestone from the chest and putting them into the crucibles. This is all running pretty smooth. These tanks are now completely full, and I guess I could upgrade one of them if I wanted to. I don't really need to at the moment, so I'll just hold off on doing that. But what I think I'm going to do is pull one off and put it over here by the smeltery and just hook it to this tank right here, or maybe underneath and hook it to that tank right there with one of the fluid conduits, and just let this thing auto-fill itself until that 256 buckets of lava is taken care of, and then we can put the empty one over there, pull the full one, and replace them, just swap them out. I could also, I guess, eventually have a ender tank and just put an ender tank there so that it feeds from an ender tank straight into here, and I don't have to worry about swapping tanks, but that's a little ways down the road. Really short on ender pearls all the time, but yeah. Anyway, I've been using the slime boots here. I've been manually crushing gravel down into sand and dust to get redstone, and I've been just like building a tower straight up and then hammering it back down with the vein miner. So didn't want to take damage from falling. So these slime boots that I got from a loot bag really help out there. I'm gonna have to rebuild this mob farm because it is super not really effective as I would like it to be. But it's still just a 2x5, but I put those punchy sticks against the walls here because they can stick to walls also. And so basically what I do is I just stand up here and get the aggro from the mobs that are in there, and then back up a little bit, and they try to track me, and they walk right into the spikes on the wall, and then they die, and then I get their drops. Another thing I did was, since we have witch water over here, I took a bucket of witch water, and there was a skeleton in there, so I hit him with the witch water. You just pour it in there, and he turned into, I'm pretty sure it was a wither skeleton, because that's what they used to do, but I couldn't really see him that well because it's dark in there anyway. But he died against the spikes, and he dropped this artifact loot bag right here, and I wanted to open that on camera because I looked in the what is it, the JEI or tooltip or whatever thing here, and looked at the items that are possible to get from this thing, and some of them are actually really good. So you can get the Dragon Head, a Growth Crystal Tier 2 from Tiny Progressions, a Mob Masher, a block of Ender Pearl, which I could actually put to use right away, a block of Emerald, Empowered Palace Crystal Block, Empowered Redstonia Crystal Block, Magical Boomerang, Superium Essence, Lava Egg, a Zeologic Controller, a Night Slime Chicken, a Diamond Ore, Enderman Head. There's like two different ones. Oh, that's the Tormented Enderman Head. Smart Chicken, Empowered Void Crystal Block, Superium Ingot, Block of Diamond, Emerald Ore, Mega Torch. It's like the old Magnum Torch. An Experience Rod, an Old Blue Bag, a Crystal Chest, and a Cobblestone Generator Tier 5. So, lots of good stuff. Probably the worst out of this would be that Enderman Head, because I already have one. I think I'll probably need like 2 or 3 by super late game, but I mean I could eventually just grind them out. The chickens, because I don't have anywhere to put it quite yet. The Superium stuff, I don't think I can make use of just one of those. The Emerald Ore, I could throw through the grinder and get like 2 emeralds out of. Otherwise, I'm not really needing emeralds at the moment. The Emerald Block would be decent because it's 9 emeralds as opposed to like 1 or 2 right here. And the Dragon Head, totally useless. So, and like you get one from the end anyway. The rest of the stuff, I guess I could probably use. Probably not the Tormented Enderman Head quite yet, but eventually, yes. That'll save materials. The Experience Rod I could make. I do have the Alloy Smelter and the stuff to make it, I think. Yeah, so I can make Soul Sand and Gold. And Energetic Alloy just uses Gold, Redstone, Glowstone. So really just Redstone is all I'm short of there. So anyway, let's open this thing and see what we get here. Crystal Chest and an Empowered Void Crystal Block. Oh, that got sucked into here. It does that weird thing where if you don't shift click it out of the bag, it just drops on the floor. Alright, so these will actually save me time later because I don't need to build an Empowerer and do all this stuff and make the Void Crystals, which are just coal. I mean, it's like not super expensive. Oh, got the manual for that. The Crystal Chest is just a ton of storage space. So I'm going to put this down over here. There we go. Awesome. This stuff I'm going to put away right there, and this goes over here. Go ahead and harvest this up again. Put those there. I was actually planning on making paper here to make books out of. So whenever I need books, I can use the paper there. Or if I need paper for anything else, it's got a few uses. Like for the filters, network card, storage terminal. What was the thing I was looking at? Item filter, I think, for Ender IO. Yeah, item filter for Ender IO uses the hopper with paper. The advanced item filter takes the Zeologic controller, so that's why I was saying I could use that right away if I got one. But for now, without the filter, I'm still just using a transfer node there because I already made the filter for that before, and that's still working away up there. So I don't exactly need the item filter for Ender IO just to switch this one block right here with a different kind of conduit. The transfer node with only one space, like only occupying one block, transfers decently fast. Don't have to really worry about it. The crusher is not even putting out items fast enough to keep the autosieve busy. So I don't know. I guess I could speed that up probably, or I could build an auto hammer and just put an auto hammer on here. Would probably be my next next course of action there. Let me see. What do we need for a auto hammer? Like this one? A diamond hammer and 10 iron. Oh, that's very doable. And then the other one, I guess they took out the hammer or the one that was like the exact same, but I think it was more expensive. It used like iron blocks. I don't remember. I think there was one that was really expensive and one that was not as expensive. Anyway, let's go ahead and build this. And while I'm thinking about it, I also put an item conduit here. So we had the fluid conduit in here. So anytime there's a fluid, liquid, metal in there, it automatically extracts here, pours down into the cast. Whenever the casted ingot is solidified and is actually an item, then the item conduit here picks it up and pulls it over into this chest. So I can actually melt down a bunch of metals. Just set it and forget it, really. Just put them in there and walk away. Like so. It's not tall enough for me to throw a whole ton of stuff in here, but, you know, it's tall enough. It's only the 2x2 model. Anyway, let's go ahead and build this auto hammer, which I probably should have done way sooner. But I actually forgot about the auto hammers, and originally was looking for the crusher, macerator, you know, something like that, because that's what I was using in Hermit Pack instead of the auto hammer, because the Ex Nihilo mod is not in Hermit Pack. But those are the items, those are the blocks that I was using there to accomplish the same goals. Anyway, so we need 2 of those, like so. Auto hammer. And this guy here, let me just break this out. Let's see, take you, knock that out. And I'm going to place the auto hammer right there. That should all have exactly the same setup. Yeah, nothing changed on the conduits or piping or anything. And this is using 20 RF per tick, so exactly the same amount of power. And I can put more hammers in there to speed it up, but I think it only takes diamond ones. Not quite sure. But I think it is actually producing gravel faster. It's 20 RF per tick, but not for as long. And it might only be producing gravel. I'm not sure if it actually can produce sand like the crusher does. Anyway, so that is, I guess, an upgrade there. Can we get rid of these? I actually crashed my game yesterday clicking cobblestone into this transfer node. For some reason, if it's like at 63 and you shift click a stack to try to put like an extra 1 in there, for some reason it crashes the game. I don't know why. It did it to me twice yesterday, actually. So be wary of that if you have a transfer node and you're trying to sneak items into it before it fills back up again. And I've been testing a mod pack of my own lately, and due to it crashing all the time, I don't even like read the crash report because I knew what was causing the issue. But just out of habit, I didn't even read the crash report whenever this happened. But that's what I was doing when it did crash. So I don't know if it was this or if it was some other issue going on out here in the almost nothing that I have built that was causing the crash, but it hasn't done it today, and it didn't do it after the second time yesterday. But it did it when I was doing the exact same thing twice, so I figured that was the issue. Alright. Oh, I need to get this stuff put up here. I also need to make another couple of cows, probably, so I can get some more leather. So if I actually do need books or leather for anything specifically, I can have it. What have I gotten recently from loot bags that's interesting? I got the sacrificial dagger for blood magic. I got a blue slime crystal for Tinker's Construct. I got a focus sash from Dark Utilities. This is like a Pokemon ripoff item. Basically, while it's in your inventory, you're immune to being one-shot killed. But, I mean, if something is strong enough to kill you in one hit, guess what? It's going to attack you again immediately afterward. That's about it, really. As far as, like, novel and unique and interesting items. I think I'm going to start just emptying this into storage over there, so I can have it all useful, because I had gotten an ender pearl here and forgot about it and was over there trying to figure out how to do stuff, and then remembered, oh yeah, I got an ender pearl, and then spent the next hour, you know, setting everything up to use it. But now, if I want to make any more grid power stuff, I need another ender pearl to even get started to make the little resonating crystal thing. So yeah, again, short on ender pearls, but like I said earlier, oh, while there's a guy in there, let me witch water this guy real quick. Is that it? Yeah, I saw the little death smoke thing. I'm gonna rebuild this here. I put a fan on here. There's a mob fan. It's like terrible. It actually does nothing. The mob fan is supposed to blow mobs around like in your mob grinder setup, but this one does absolutely nothing. You give it a redstone signal and it turns on, and it does nothing. I've tested it, and to get it to do anything, you actually have to put upgrades in these slots here. There's a width modifier increase, a height modifier increase, and a range modifier increase. So right now it's at 0, 0, and 0, so it does nothing. If you put a height and width in there, then it'll be at a 1 by 1 by 0, I think. Maybe 1 by 1 by, you know, default 1 if you just put anything in there. But you have to basically put a whole bunch of upgrades in this thing to make it work to the radius or the range that you want it to work in. But yeah, waste of material, kind of, sort of. I think I used some redstone on that. Let me look here. Fan. So here's the fan. Yeah, redstone, 4 iron, and 4 slabs. So not really a huge waste, I guess. But there's no other fan that blows mobs. And if I put down conveyor belts, nothing will spawn on them. So yeah, can't do that. But so the upgrades to this, here's the upgrades. The +1 width uses a block and 4 aluminum rods. So that's 11 aluminum to make one of these, and you can have 3 in there. The height is exactly the same recipe but with iron. So 11 iron for a height upgrade, maximum of 3. And then the distance modifier. Steel. So you actually need 11 steel, and you get a max of 10 of these for a distance modifier. So how far does it push mobs? So this is a, let's just say 1 by 5. So I would need, I guess, 1 width, 1 height, unless it does start at 0 by 0 or 1 by 1, and then the distance is 1, so it only really looks like it's working when you're standing right in front of it. But let's just assume it's only affecting the block directly in front of it right now. I would still need 40 steel to get stuff to get pushed into the punji sticks against this wall over here. So yeah, huge investment on materials, because I don't have that much material right now. I think I just made oh, actually it's 44. Yeah, it's 9 for the block, 9 for the block, and then 2 steel makes 4 rods, so it's 9 and 2, so 11. Anyway, so 44 steel to go all the way out there, which is steel in the alloy smelter is 1 iron, 4 coal dust. So I have to grind down coal, which I made a sag mill also. It's back here hiding. I've been grinding down coal in that. I did like a stack and a half earlier last night. So it would be 44 iron and then 4 coal dust for each one of those. So yeah, let's see. I do have a ton of coal though. There's some of the coal dust left over, coal powder. And here is the steel that I made. So I'm gonna go ahead and make 1 upgrade, just to see if this affects anything. So open that up, put this there. Is there anything in there? Yes, there is. Got a creeper right there. And it looks like he didn't really drop anything. Alright, let's get inside here. Knock that out. So you notice the creeper was actually walking into this corner to try to get to me and killing himself on the punji sticks there. So it appears that it wasn't pushing him at all. So I guess height and width are actually 0. So 0 by 0 by 1. So it's actually not doing anything. It doesn't push me, but I don't think it's supposed to push me. But it definitely was not making that creeper back up at all. Unless it's so weak that they can just walk against it, which is kind of pointless for a mob grinder fan. Anyway, I will probably grind out materials to add at least 1 of the other 2 upgrades to this fan. And toss them in there and let you guys know how it works later. But for now, we are actually coming up on a full 30-minute episode. And I've covered everything I was going to cover, I think. So, thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you're enjoying the series. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Have a good day.